First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
And hello, everyone. Welcome to Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. We appreciate you joining us here on this Monday. That is a live look there from our Shriners camera overlooking downtown Portland. And it is nice out there. It is a nice day here in September, so I'm sure a lot of people will be getting outside, or we're going to be talking about the outdoors during this segment. But again, I am Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now. We live stream here every weekday starting at 1 p.m. and we appreciate everybody who does join us. We cover a wide range of topics. Today, though, we are talking about a plan to plant hundreds, if not even thousands, of new trees around the Portland metro area over this next year and then coming years as well. And there's a lot to get into with that, to understand why that is, how that's all going to happen. To do so, from Portland Parks and Recreation, we are joined now by Jenn Cairo, who is a city forester. And Jenn, thank you very much for being here with us. I really appreciate your time, to talk about this. And, we love our outdoors here in the Northwest, and that includes here in the city of Portland. And this is a big step towards having more trees around. And we want to get into why that is. And I know that there's an equitable approach to this. So would you mind giving us maybe the basic rundown of what this plan is and how that's going to work?
Yeah, thank you, Greg. I'm happy to do that. And I'm glad you're sharing this great news with the community. Yes, we have a program now that actually launched in the fall of 2023 called Equitable Tree Canopy, and that's funded by the Portland Clean Energy Community Benefits Fund. And the goal of that program is within 5 years of fall 2023 to really expand tree canopy in the city by planting a lot more trees, at least 15,000 more trees than we have currently, and also to be working with community to have that happen. So having a lot of contractors and partners working with the city using those PSEF funds to expand canopy and expand Portland's capacity to plant and care for trees on into the future.
So this is a huge move then to over this time period there for 5 years. We're kind of right in the middle of that, of planting all of these trees. And why is it important to have more trees planted within the city?
Yeah, well, as you said at the beginning of the segment, Portland is known for being green. And when we hear folks moving to Portland, a lot of what they talk about is the access to nature and green infrastructure, a large part of which is trees in Portland. It makes us different from other cities. In addition, we're increasingly recognizing, especially with the climate crisis, that trees are essential infrastructure in urban environments in Portland and any other city. They clean the air we breathe. They contribute immensely to public health, things like lowering stress and lowering heart-related health issues, increasing birth weights of infants when they're born, new babies, and of course, heat. We had the heat dome a few years ago, which was 115 degrees in Portland, kind of crazy to think about in our cool Northwest climate, but that's changing. And the shade of a tree can lower temperatures by as much as 20 degrees, which is really significant. So more trees to provide more cooling and reducing urban heat island effect are big benefits from this planting initiative.
Something you just mentioned right there, just to get a definition for everybody who may not know, when you say an urban heat island, what exactly would that quantify?
Yeah, an urban heat island is generally an area that has unusually high temperatures, higher than other areas around it. And it's usually due to high heat surfaces, a lot of hardscape and built structures, instead of the cooling effects of green infrastructure like trees.
And so planting more trees would in theory reduce the temperature in some of those areas of the city where there's currently less of that.
Not only in theory, but in fact, we know that to be true. And there are a number of PSU, for example, locally, and others have actually gone and we've measured, stand under the tree in the shade, step out from under the tree in the shade onto the sidewalk or the street, and there's a vast difference in that temperature. And that's all about public health. We know during the heat dome that unfortunately lives were lost due to that high heat. So this is perfect timing really for the city to be expanding and working with community to increase our canopy cover to counter the increasing temperatures we're seeing with the climate crisis.
When we talk about expanding the tree cover and the planting that's going on here as part of this program, I mean, just a simple question, what kinds of trees are involved with that?
Great question. There are a wide variety of trees that we plant through these programs, and that's very intentional. We want our urban forests to have diverse species so that when things like, as people have just heard last week, emerald ash borer come to the area, we don't lose a lot of our canopy at one time. So having different trees means there's less susceptibility to dramatic unanticipated impacts like that. And the trees we're planting are also appropriate for this environment. They grow well in our climate and take into account the changing climate. So they are trees that are increasingly more resilient to high heat and drier summers. And they are trees that provide the most shade and other of those essential services I mentioned before, like improved air quality.
So I know that this is a partnership between several organizations as well, you know, working on this. And when we talk about the actual physical planting of these trees, how does that work? And I guess when and where will that be occurring as far as for the public to know?
Yeah, winter is the planting season for us in the Pacific Northwest because it is cool and damp, and those are the best conditions to put new plants in the ground. And our programs focus in areas of the city that are lower canopy and also generally lower income residents than other parts of the city. So our programs have been focused for some years now in generally East Portland, North Portland, and somewhat in downtown as well, where there's less canopy. And when will that be happening? Well, it starts already next month with yard tree giveaways, and then the planting will continue until March and April. And most of that planting is done by property owners themselves through our free yard tree giveaway program with assistance and support from our folks, and also through many contractors that work closely with the city and are paid to plant and establish those trees for 3 years. And also, in some cases, the trees don't make it, and really 95% of our trees on average do survive, which is a great statistic. Those that don't make it, though, are replaced by the contractor and established again.
So for that kind of a program, for property owners that are out there that want to get involved and take advantage of the tree program, could you just walk us through briefly, you know, how that would work for them for applying and acquiring those trees?
Yeah, happy to do that. The best place to go is to our web pages, where all the information is there in great detail, as well as contact links for how to get connected with the programs. And so if you do a web search on Portland Urban Forestry Tree Planting, that will get you there, or City of Portland Tree Planting, any variation on that will get you there. And there's sign-up pages for folks to enlist in.
Cool. So they can go there, find out that info, sign up, and work with you or a contractor. So that's pretty great. When it comes to
you don't have to worry about the contractor part, Greg. You know, as soon as they sign up, we take care of all the details. We're working closely with all these community partners and contractors, and we'll figure that part out for them to make it simple.
I know this was part of the news that came out today too, but there was I believe some funding that came along with this. Would you mind just letting everybody know about that and how that part works?
Yeah, sure. Again, this is Portland Clean Energy Community Benefits Funds, and it's $40 million over 5 years to plant at least 15,000 new trees in the city in these lower canopy and lower income parts of town, and to build that community capacity. So engaging with more partners and contractors so that beyond the 5 years, there's more opportunity to have engagement in planting and tree establishment for the young trees.
Anything else that you think is really important for people to know in general about this program?
It's a great opportunity for folks to increase tree cover and increase shade and cooling as the climate gets warmer. And we're really pleased and proud to be working with PSEP and all of these partners to help make that happen for the community.
Nice. Well, Jen, thank you very much for joining us, just to go over this and explain this just a little bit more for everybody to understand the program. Oh, one final question, and you may have answered this, but just to clarify, how many trees have been planted so far over the life of the program?
Over the life of the program so far, gosh, I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to say probably 6,000 or so trees.
Wow.
Well, and this winter, we're really ramping up yet again. It's increased each year. We've had to kind of develop the program and get the contracts and the partners on board to do the work with this new funding. So this year we'll be planting 6,500 trees through the various different types of programs.
So that's a lot of trees that people can expect to see here over this winter.
That is a lot of trees that people can expect to see, and that's great news for all of us.
Well, thank you very much for joining us here on Fox 12 Now. I appreciate your time and the work that you're doing and just letting everybody know about how this is all going to be implemented and going into effect. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks for having me here, Greg. Take care.
And for, you too. And for everybody watching too, this is Fox 12 Now. As I mentioned, we live stream here, and so that's why we get to have a little bit longer form interviews and segments. We get to go a little more in depth, and we appreciate people like Jen joining us to do that. If you have an idea for a topic, feel free to send me an email, fox12now@kptv.com. That's fox12now@kptv.com, and we'll see if we can accommodate whatever it is that you want to find out about. So send me that email. Otherwise, we will talk to you soon. Again, I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.